learn that. I do have a lot of interest in serving, doing things in the local level, but at the same time, the international level. So I like to see where I can fit in, hopefully going through the STAR here and trying to define where I want to be. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Katie, I see you next on my screen.
Good morning. I've joined the Downtown Rotary, and goodness, I think there's so much to learn. I don't know that I will ever be able to learn it all. Seems to be so many good things that the Rotary does, and I just felt this was something I could do to be part of the community.
Great, thank you. Callie.
Hi, I'm Callie Smith. I'm part of the Downtown Rotary. This is my second STAR meeting, so I'm still fairly new to Rotary, and I haven't had too much exposure to Rotary prior to joining, so I'm just really excited to learn more about Rotary overall.
Great, sounds good. Travis?
Morning, everybody. I'm Travis Bordeaux with Downtown Rotary as well. My first meeting officially as a member last week, and my first STAR meeting as well. Kind of along the same lines as others, just excited about learning how to get more involved in the community. Been talking about it for years, and I'm just excited to actually get involved with some people who have their boots on the ground and learn more about that. So
Yes, we will. You'll hear all about all sorts of projects that you can jump right into. Sharon.
Hi, Sharon Jolivet, Downtown Rotary. My husband has been a member of Rotary forever. And I am retired and am now looking for a place for me to fit into Rotary.
Thank you. You'll find a spot, I know it. And let's see, I think Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Mueller. I'm part of Downtown Rotary. I had just joined in February, so I had opportunity to meet some of you, but then everything kind of abruptly stopped. And I'm just really looking forward to learning how I can contribute to Rotary, and as a retired person myself, and new to the community, I'm looking forward to how I can fit into Rotary and the community here.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Okay, I think it's Andrew. I see Zoom employment, but I think it's Andrew.
Oh, yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. My connection isn't the greatest. Andrew Dickinson, Downtown Rotary in La Crosse. I think I don't want to be redundant or anything, but I think what the majority of the new members are saying, just learning about what Rotary has to offer and all the good that it brings to the community. And I'm excited to just learn more about my fellow Rotarians as well. I know Downtown Rotary is a very larger group as Rotary clubs are considered. And so I'm excited to be a part of the Downtown Club.
Great, thanks, Andrew. Julia.
Good morning. I'm also part of the Downtown Club and fairly new, just joined in March, I think. And my exposure to Rotary, well, actually my first exposure was more than 30 years ago in Germany when my husband and I were living in Germany. And at that time, women weren't allowed in Rotary, so I was a little put off by that. Then my husband's been in Rotary for a long time, and I guess when we were living in Rochester, I was busy with family and my career, and so it was more on the periphery. But since moving here to the La Crosse area, I've just been so impressed with, I've been able to meet many local Rotarians through some of the fellowships and also some of the just volunteering where I came along. And I was so impressed with the community involvement and the openness and the culture of Rotary here. And so that really drew me, and I'm excited to be involved, meet people, and especially, you know, dig in and get involved in some projects.
Great, thanks, Julia. Courtney.
I'm a part of the Downtown Rotary. This is my second STAR meeting as well. Excited to kind of get back to those meetings one day. It was really nice to get to know people, and so I've been trying to do some coffee Zooms with people on the side, but it works. Curious a little bit more about just committee structures, things like that. I'm starting to get a little more familiar with that, but it seems like there are a lot of people doing a lot of things that I'm not totally familiar with just yet.
Great, you'll get a better picture of that today. Marissa.
Good morning, I'm Marissa Dickinson. I am in Rotary After Hours, and I just assumed the role of president as of July 1st. I think one of my goals is there's so much to learn in Rotary, and I'm trying to be really intentional about our programs, the speakers we bring in, the service activities we do, and aligning them to Rotary's areas of focus to try to tell the bigger picture of the impact that the foundation has through those areas of focus. So learning more about those now seven areas is something I'm looking forward to.
Great. We'll get to some of those. Ian.
Am I muted? Can you hear me? All right.
We can hear you.
My video is not on though. There you go. Now you can see me. Yeah. I'm Ian Turner. I am in Downtown Rotary, and I have an uncle who's been a longtime Rotarian, and I would hear about what he was doing, and I helped him revamp his Rotary Club scholarship program when I was in high school. And for a long time, I kind of figured that was about all they did. So figuring out what else goes on is of interest to me. But I think being pretty brand new to lacrosse and this community, having moved here from Colorado a couple months ago, at the the fellowship and the socializing piece of it's also pretty important to me, just to get connected with the community and find places where my wife and I and my kids can help give back.
Great, thanks, Ian. James.
Hi, I'm James Murray. I'm a member of After Hours. I've been a member since I'm looking at Club Runner November, so about 6 months, 7 months. And there's a whole lot that I don't know, so that's why I'm here.
Sounds great. We'll start filling a few gaps. Sarah.
I'm Sarah. I'm in the After Hours Club, and I've been in the club for about a year. And I guess I'm looking.
Sarah, can you try speaking up? I don't think we can hear you very well.
Right. I'm in the After Hours Club, and what I would like to learn is more about the structure of Rotary, like from local clubs all the way up to international.
Great. Well, that's what this particular session is all about. And it looks like, where'd he go? Didn't Josh? Okay, Josh Mancy was on. Oh, there he is.
I'm here.
Yeah. Your last introduction, Josh.
Oh, I'm from After Hours, and I'm just auditing, so don't mind me.
Just auditing.
So I'm here if you guys, if I can help, let me know. But otherwise, I'll just quietly sit in the corner. So thanks for letting me join.
Sure. As you can see, people come to this session for lots of different reasons. All right, so now why is my screen not going to the next thing? Okay, so this is the meeting format that Todd and I came up with. The first column is just going to be our standard agenda template. We'll do introductions, we'll have some sort of program. We will pick one area of focus each month to go over. We'll touch on themes and topics. We're going to try to do an international to local look in all of these discussions so that you can really get a feel for how our local work is parallel to international. And then we will always be referencing our resources, and you are included in those resources. even though you may be new, you are still a Rotarian. You are experiencing it in a way that no one else has. Everybody's experience is different, and we want to hear from you. This month's agenda is about kicking off the Rotary year, which Bill already touched on some of those things, which is great. Rotary Structure, Todd is going to talk about resources and help us get connected to those resources. And then our area of focus is promoting peace. So I'll skip over this one because Bill already talked about it. Our Rotary year begins. It's a July 1 through June 30th. We have a new Rotary president. His name is Holger Knack. Or how did Bill say that? Knack? Because I was saying it Knack. Anyway, he is, this is what he looks like. A very fun looking, approachable guy from Germany. He will serve as our president for a year. He chose, I'll go before I get to that, included with kind of like the kicking off of a new Rotary year, our Rotary International Conventions. Unfortunately, this year's was canceled, and I'm sure everyone who was planning to go was extremely disappointed because it was going to be in Honolulu. These are incredible opportunities. It's where we launch our new president, introduce him, launch the new theme for the year. Rotary Opens Opportunities is Holger's theme. And every theme has a new logo, and you'll see that logo at the bottom of the slide. You'll see it on pins, you'll see it on promotional materials, you'll see it on banners. And I don't know how they come up with that. If there's like, they get support by the Rotary International, or if they come up with it on their own. I suppose it looks different every year. My theme was Rotary Makes a Difference. Todd, what was yours?
Rotary, that's a good question. I'm thinking of the logo for mine. The guy was from the Bahamas, and the logo was really pretty cool. It was a wave representing, and it also looked like a sailboat. Yeah, generally all of these things are talking about all the good stuff that Rotarians in the world.
Yeah. Sorry, I put you on the spot. Back to the conventions. These conventions are incredible. They attract 20 to 30,000 Rotarians from all over the world. Any Rotarian can attend. And these are planned years in advance. They're held throughout the world. As you can imagine, 20 to 30,000 people requires a special venue. Here is where they will be held in future years. Hopefully we can meet for the convention next year, which will be in Taipei. After that, Houston, Texas, and then Melbourne, Australia in 2023. Mine was in Atlanta. Where was yours, Todd?
Mine was in Toronto, and I would just throw out here that every single year there are multiple people from our district going. Mm-hmm. So if you've got any interest in going, don't just feel like, well, wow, I'm just going to try it and see. I mean, guaranteed there are people that are going, typically from our club, the Rotary Club of La Crosse. We typically will send our president elect there so that they can experience that. And I know that multiple people throughout the district go. I know that the district governor is almost required to go. And there's many people. So you can actually make a fun event out of it. I know mine to Toronto, I was just blown away by everything that they offered.
Yeah, these are incredible opportunities. There's typical announcements, and there's some business to be done around elections for different seats and votes on different policy. And it's quite the inspirational convention. The speakers are of the highest caliber you will find anywhere. There's a massive opening ceremony. And then it goes all the way down to smaller breakout groups of 50 to 75 people. There are inspirational stories of success, glimpses into the future direction of Rotary. There are breakouts on real practical applications like how to recruit new members, or Rotary International, when I went, they were launching their new public relations campaign, People of Action. And there are people from all over the world. And this was a place where you actually could go by yourself and still never feel alone. You are immediately in a Rotary family. I experienced that sitting in the airport in Chicago, waiting for my flight to Atlanta at the gate, and started noticing all the Rotary logos on hats and t-shirts. And within minutes, everybody was talking and connecting around Rotary issues. It was incredible.
Cody, I got a question.
Sure.
Just for us new folks here, if we want to go, just in general, the cost. I know we pick up the airfare, the hotel, food, things like that, but just the overall cost, what's the estimation?
Yeah, so I just was online because I'm actually seriously considering going to Taiwan. The actual fee to get into the convention, I think if you do it before December, is about $315. So that's pretty reasonable. Obviously, the flight costs, I was just looking into that. There is a direct flight on EVA Airlines from Chicago to Taipei, and it was about $1,050. There are other flights that I saw that were maybe around the $800 mark. They weren't direct, and the flights were like 32 to 40 hours long. If you take direct out of Chicago, it was 16 hours. And then the hotels, they have convention hotels of all different price ranges. And, just note that food's not included in virtually any of this. So, it's certainly not an inexpensive endeavor. It's totally worth it.
But I would say that the expense is coming from the travel costs more so than $350 for an early registration for the caliber of presentations and keynotes and access to information. It's well worth it.
15. It was 315, not 350.
Okay, still even a better deal.
Yeah, Tom, talk to me because I'm signed up and I've got a hotel room for two that's only a half mile away from the convention center. And in Taipei, it's like 15 miles is the average hotel far from the convention center. So
that's great. That's great. So you guys can see, look at what a great, this is Rotary in action right now.
Right.
So as the international convention kind of kicks off a new Rotary year, what's happening locally is a district convention or district conference that, at least in our area, is kind of wrapping up that district governor's year. This year it was called Rotary Fest, and it was to be held in Fort Atkinson, but our district governor, Edwin Voss, had to quickly adapt and make it an online event. Next year's district convention will be April 23rd through April 25th. And the location each year is kind of based on where that district governor is from. It's all a volunteer effort to put this conference together. Again, like the international convention, it has a variety of keynotes and breakouts, lots of socials, lots of ways to connect with other Rotarians. And at least when it was here in La Crosse a year ago, we used that time to kind of show off the La Crosse area as well. You'll hear about all sorts of Rotary projects, get a lot of inspiration, a lot of connections. And when I've been to any of a kind of Rotary conference or convention, it actually turns out to be some professional development for me as well. I think about hearing Peter Hughes talk about do a breakout session on compression planning many years ago, and I went, oh, I can use that in my workplace. So something definitely to consider for all of you to attend a district conference.
And if I could just, if I could just add on, this is your first piece of homework from the day is go ahead and write these dates down and put it on your calendar. I don't know if Bill is still on. I actually think that his conference, it might be in the Dells, but I'm not 100% sure. But typically April 23rd is a Friday, and typically it'll start that evening, be all day Saturday, and then we'll wrap up by we'll say an early breakfast on Sunday morning is typically how this works. And if you want to get introduced to what Rotary does on a local level, this is absolutely the best way. Bill mentioned we have 60 plus clubs in our district. There will be people from each club at this meeting.
Todd, I am here. Sorry, I was muted on another phone call there. It's in Madison, Wisconsin this year.
Okay.
23rd, 25th. It's in Madison. And Jody said it's normally in the governor's backyard for a couple of reasons. One, to show off the area that they love so much. And second is that's where you can turn to your fellow Rotarians for the assistance behind the scenes to get this going. So why Madison? Well, I'm in this role in kind of a unique circumstance. The lady who had been chosen before me to be in for this year passed away. And so I was accelerated up by about 18 months into this role. And the last thing that Sue Hollenbach did before she passed away was sign the lease on her conference in Madison, Wisconsin. I can tell you, I did a little homework on that lease because I would have had the option to pay a fee to cancel that conference and bring it back over into the La Crosse area. Sue gets big kudos for her negotiating skills. She booked the Madison West out on the outside west side loop there, the big Madison Marriott Hotel. And she was able to book it for a price that was less than we could have gotten the Radisson or anything close to it in La Crosse. So she did a very good job. So yes, April 23rd through the 25th. And the last thing I'll simply say is we've had a tradition for many, many years of having a single district convention. We have had a few multi-district conventions. We call them dual cons or tri-conferences. This next April will be the final single district conference that 6250 will have. We've entered into an agreement with our friends from the North and the Milwaukee districts that moving forward, starting in 2022, there'll be tri-cons at different points around the state. Don't know where those places are located yet. And the tri-con is an exciting thing unto itself because you just tripled the synergies. But this will be the final for the 6250 conferences in April of 2021 in Madison.
Okay, good. We'll have to change all of this slide, Todd, for next year. So Rotary has 1.2 million members. At the convention, at the international convention, the Rotary's impact is really obvious and you can almost feel it in the air. So when you think about 1.2 million people around the world working toward a common mission and vision, the impact is just enormous. The near eradication of polio is just one example of Rotary at work. And no, this isn't happening by accident or by luck. There is a structure and an organization that supports this work at the local and international level. So this is what it kind of looks like. These 1.2 million members all belong to one of 35,000 plus clubs. Each club is organized into a district, and each district belongs to a zone. Or you can think of it as reverse. Rotary International has sectioned the whole world into 35 zones. Each zone has numerous districts, and each district has many clubs. I covered that. So this is our district. We are in District 6250. No matter what club you are in, you are a member of District 6250. There are 63 clubs in this district. And here's a little map that shows which counties are included in the district. Each district, very similar to Rotary International, has a board of directors, which is led by the district governor, who we are lucky to have on the line with us right now. And then everybody on that board of directors is a member of the district or comes from one of those clubs. So what does a district do? The district does a lot of organizing and keeps us connected to zones and Rotary International. The district governors support the Rotary International president's goals and themes and encourages the clubs to align with them. The district has many committees. Just a few of them are membership, helping us to think about the future and what we need to recruit and retain members. There's youth exchange, and there's also the district grant committee. You heard Mark talk about being an assistant governor. Assistant governors are part of this district structure. Every one of our clubs has an assistant governor designated to our club to help be a liaison between our clubs and the district level. They provide a lot of support and information. Districts are available to help us on any issue, from membership to marketing and fundraising. Sometimes there are special committees that pop up to focus on special issues. And that they also help the district. Bill, is there a committee? Well, we don't need to get into it, but it's the district conference gets organized from the district office. When you see district administrator on our slide and you see the name Morgan Data and Heather Dyer, this is a paid administrator to help with our website and do a lot of the administration. And our contact's name is Heather Dyer. Todd, did you want to add anything?
No, I would just say that a lot of districts out there don't necessarily have a paid group like Morgan Data, and they're professionals. They serve as the administrators for other organizations as well. I would tell you that that's one of the things that sets our district apart, is that, you know, Heather and her group have a long institutional memory and have been doing this for a long time, bring a lot of professionalism to our district. So I think you'll notice that our district seems to do things that others don't. And I would tell you that some of that relates just to the fact of, you know, the professional nature that where we choose to spend our money and try to, you know, make sure that we're, you know, well set for the future.
Yeah. I talked about zones before. So districts are grouped into 34 geographic zones around the world. This is what it looks like for us. We are in zone 29, which is up here. And then down here is 25B. And our two zones are grouped together to connect with the Rotary International Board. So there will always be one board member on Rotary International that comes from either 25B or 20 district or zone 29. So what do zones do? Well, zones do for districts what districts do for clubs. I think that's a pretty simple way to say it. I'm sure they do a lot more than that. They have a team of support coordinators that support the district and clubs. They do a lot of leadership development. So zones are where the top Rotary International leadership comes from the board, the foundation board. Our current representative from Zone 29 is a woman named Susie Howe from Houston, Texas, and she is on the Rotary International Board of Directors. Some of the opportunities that are available to all of us are the Zone Institute and One Rotary Summit. I've not done any zone conferences, and I'm sure they're excellent. Anything you want to add, Todd?
Yeah, I would say of everybody on the phone call that's aware of zones, it's probably Bill. I know he has played in that area for a number of years. Bill, do you want to add anything to what a zone does?
No, I just would say that they're fully in support. So they work as a very important liaison between what I call Rotary Evanston, where our headquarters is, and the district operations. Zone are the part of the support that helps a district operate. If a district operates or locates something that they want to work on, zone is an integral part of it. I would add to that map too, there's she showed zone 29, which is kind of our neck of the woods, and 25B, which is the other neck of the woods of, we'll just say, Texas down in Oklahoma. There's a 25A that's also under Susie Howe. That goes all the way down in South America to Guatemala. So our Susie Howe, who represents us on the board, represents an enormous swath of territory. And the reason we don't have our 25A people with us a great deal is that we're not very bilingual in the 29 area. And so, and Spanish is not our primary language. And so they actually operate separately, but they're under the same Susie Howe's umbrella all the way down to Guatemala in Central America.
And that's pretty cool that the zones cross international boundaries, countries. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what else is going on around this time of year in Rotary when we think about the Rotary calendar? Locally, you may have heard of things like Moon Tunes and Lobster Fest. Clubs are often having end of year celebrations that kind of looks different based on your club's culture and history. There's also a service auction. Moon Tunes and Lobster Fest, as far as I know, are not happening this year, but the Holman service auction is. It's an online format on July 23rd. This is also the time of year that you will be hearing about Avenues of Service banquet or dinner. That is a face-to-face time to celebrate lots of achievements in our local Rotary clubs. This is when there's a Lifetime Achievement Award. There's a Rising Star Award that is for somebody who is new to Rotary and is kind of stellar in what they are bringing and doing in their early years of Rotary. There's a Rotarian of the Year award that comes out of each club. And then there are Service Project Awards. Normally, Avenues of Service is happening in August. Now it's been moved to October 6th, with fingers crossed that we can actually meet face to face. So when you hear about Avenues of Service, this is another thing. Here's more homework. I'll step on Todd's coattails on that one. Add that to your calendar. It's a great way to really hear more about what's going on in Rotary, hear individual stories of how people are making a difference in Rotary, and a great time to socialize. Now, I'm turning it all over to Todd to talk about these things.
Yeah, so maybe if I could take over
Yes.
and do the screen share. So really, while I'm trying to share my screen here.
I'll fix it, Todd. Just hold on. Okay,
so
you should be able to share.
There is a huge breadth and depth to Rotary that we're never going to be able to get through all of it with you. So really what we're trying to do is just make some basic introductions to things so that you know, and really kind of pique your interest and have you go out and discover what's there. I mean, literally, we would never be able to cover everything that Rotary does. So the first thing I wanted to start with is just the Rotarian. This is funny. You can, the Rotarian is a magazine here. I got a hard copy here. You can either get it in hard copy or electronically. I actually don't have the July one yet. I did it online. And this is just what it looks like. Oh, thanks. I don't know why I haven't received mine yet, but
Travis doesn't have his yet. He might be too new though.
okay. But the Rotarian, you know, they in July they always have a big article on the new RI president, and there's some great information here. The next thing I wanted to go through is just a few websites, and again, just to kind of put this into your mindset of what's out there. Rotary International has their own login and own account, and it's really called myrotary.org. This happens to be mine. I would encourage you to go to rotary.org and just create an account and then just start playing around in there and see what's there. On the Rotary website, you know, if you can see my screen, this literally goes through all the highlights of what they do. They're promoting peace, fighting diseases, all the areas of focus, all the programs that they have. I mean, you can literally spend about 15 minutes just reading through each one of these things. So again, in the 8 minutes that we have left, I can't go through all of this, but the structure, the foundation, you know, financials, you name it, it's all on here. And everything you do, if you donate money, this My Rotary button, you can kind of access all things Rotary through your account. Similar to that, the district has a website as well. It's called Rotary6250.org. Again, you've got you can actually, yeah, this is all free. You just go and create a member login, and you've got access to all kinds of things Rotary District. And I would just put in a plug for the district here. If anybody has any desire to help out at a district level, despite the fact that you guys are only a year or less into Rotary, there's ample opportunities to get involved. So that's on the district level. And then our club, and this won't be true for all of your clubs, but Rotary Club of La Crosse does have what's called Club Runner. And again, you can go in here. It will tell you everything that you're involved in. It's got all the members in there. This my commitments, if I think I'm still logged in. Yeah, it will just tell me here's all the committees that I'm on. You can tell I must like to drink. I'm in the beer fellowship, whiskey fellowship, the wine fellowship. But there's all kinds of stuff out there for you to find, and really what we're trying to do is just let you know what resources are out there so that you can find them. And one thing I don't want to kind of discount is, you know, just talk to your fellow Rotarians. I mean, we're involved in all kinds of stuff, and I know you're not going to be able to read this, but this is the last page of the June Rotary magazine, and it talks about Rotary fellowships. And it's got this huge list. I know you can't read them all, but if you're interested in it, it's everything from amateur radio to yoga, and everything in between. And there are Rotarians all over the world that do this kind of stuff. So hopefully we want you to start poking around in hopes that you'll actually find something that you're interested in doing. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is stop sharing my screen, and then Jody, if you could go back to just the PowerPoint, we'll kind of get back to that. I think
while you're doing that, Todd, real quick, this month's Rotarian magazine has an interview with Karen Kendrick Hams out of our Madison, Wisconsin club. She was one of the key people that drove Rotary to add the environment as our 7th area of focus. So again, another big feather in the hat of District 6250 that you belong to, that It is now the 7th major area of focus, and that started because of a group in Madison, Wisconsin.
Nice. So these are and I think we'll probably make these slides available to you, but these are just the website addresses that you can use to link in. And again, not everybody is going to have that club runner. I will tell you that the club runner, if your club has it, I actually have a club runner app on my phone, and you can access everybody's name, their email address, their phone number right on the app. So one of the things I was going to say is, at the end of this, if you're going through and struggling to set up accounts, just call me or shoot me an email, and we can jump on a Zoom type call, and I will physically help you get these accounts set up. We just don't have time to do that on a one-on-one basis on this phone call. So Jody, if you could go to the next slide. And Jody, so as Bill mentioned, there are actually 7 areas of focus now. What we've selected to do is just pick one each time we meet and talk a little about it. Promoting peace. Peace is a huge thing that Rotary strives to do. And I believe, Jody, is your video less than 3 minutes? That's all we've got left.
Yep, it's 2. So
let me ask this. Do we want to just send everybody this and then they can watch that on their own?
yeah, that's a good idea. It's pretty powerful, and it does talk about exactly what happens with their short snippets from Rotary Peace Fellows and what they're accomplishing in the world after attending a Rotary Peace Center.
Hey, well, if I could, it looks like Josh Mancy, it looks like you're still on. Josh actually heads up our district foundation and has multiple things, and one of the things is peace. Josh, since you're kind of a guest today, do you just real briefly, we've only got it like maybe in 1 minute, just kind of talk a little about what you do and how, and there are some peace components to your Rotary job as well.
Sure. So as Jody explained earlier, the district, Western Wisconsin, our foundation group does a lot of things in all the different areas of focus, one of which is peace. So we do 2 programs, Peace Fellow program, which is about 150 individuals per year around the world. And then we also do Global Grant Scholars and provide scholarships for people to get master's degrees to really kind of pay dividends for their entire lifetimes of doing good and building peace and education throughout the world. So that's my 40-second snippet. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. And just so in addition to the master's degree, there's also a certificate program that people can go out and get, and I think that's maybe a 3-month program. And again, all of those things are focused on peace. So Jody, it looks like we've got 1 minute left. This is really, as Jody mentioned at the very beginning, every other month on this specific Thursday, there's a meeting. September 10th is the next one, if you want to put that on your calendars. And again, one of our goals for everybody is we hope to bring in guests like Bill and Josh today. And if there are things that you want to see or find out more about, let Jody or I know, and we'll try to invite guests within Rotary who have done that before, so they can give you kind of that personalized feel of what it's like, rather than just looking at those websites and saying, wow, I see we do this, I wonder what it's like. I guarantee you in our district, we've got people who have done it.
Yep.
So
we'll save the question about tell us something about your club. We'll open with that in September. So all of that thinking that you did, we'll just hold off till next week or next meeting in September. I bet you'll have even more to add. And if you want to linger with questions, I can stay on. Todd?
Yeah, and so can I, and thank you all for joining. And again, if you have questions that come up, you're welcome to reach out to Jody or myself. I think your club, your president and your board, I mean, a lot of people are in the know here. And I would encourage you, if you've got a desire to have any type of leadership, whether it be at a committee level, at your club level, at the district level, just please let somebody know. And there is more than enough volunteer work out there to be done. We're always looking for people with an interest. So, wow. And we even get Mark Joel Levet. He's like the oldest new person we've ever had in STAR. Mark, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, he's filling in for Sharon. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. This has been great. Do you have questions? You can just unmute.
Yeah, so if you need to drop off, feel free to drop off, but we'll stick around and answer questions.
Yeah. Anyone?
Thanks, Jody and Todd. Nice to meet all you folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye, Travis.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Some of
guys.
for lunch.
Thank you. Yeah, see you for lunch.
Mark, how's the shoulder? You're on mute.
There we go. Did my first PT on Monday. I'm right on target. I'm at 4 weeks of a 6-month program.
Oh, that's long. Hang in there.
Yeah, thank you. The best news is I'm sleeping better at night. That's hard. I'm still in a recliner. Beds don't feel good yet.
Yeah.
It's because I have to find room for all the baggage here.
Ugh. Yikes. That's a massive undertaking.
Hey, I actually see Julia and Nancy. You know, I don't know, not all clubs have that program where we kind of try to actively recruit spouses, and we find that spouses can be great members and sometimes even better members than the husband. I know that's how we brought Eva Marie, my wife, on, and I would say the same is definitely true there, that sometimes the spouse is a better member than the original member. So thrilled that you guys are on, but sometimes that's a great way for clubs, to bring in new memberships. I mean, we spend a lot of time here. It's important in people's lives, and it's nice to kind of get to share that with somebody that you love. So to me, it's kind of an easy ask.
And Julia, when you were talking about your experience of, seeing these great things happening, but you couldn't be a member, this club, when it was one of those things when I was a president, I went, oh my gosh. So when I graduated high school, I grew up here in La Crosse, I could not have even joined this club. Because
I think it was 87 that women were first allowed, right? Yeah.
Yep. And it's a good reminder because we are working on diversity and being more inclusive around the world. And that does include increasing membership of women.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a club in our district in Granton, Wisconsin. That's an all couples club. They meet for dinner. It's strange. They've had 100% attendance in their club here for 20 plus years. And you're going, wow, no one goes on vacation? Well, no, if a couple goes on vacation, they're responsible to find another couple who's not a Rotarian that comes and sits in the spot. And then they expand their friendship group that way. I
love it.
Very
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great. Great.
So, Bill, when you go and visit that club, will you bring your bride then?
Well, I was on a last night.
That was a yes or no, Bill.
The answer. Mark Tail. My wife was very excited. We're very good friends with a past district governor, Joe and Tina Ruskey. Joe is a member of the Prairie du Chien Club and a past district governor. And Joe's spot partner, Tina, came with him to virtually every club. And, Joe, on a call I was on yesterday with past district governor, said, to me, it was such a surprise that so many people were excited to see me. I said, well, they weren't excited to see you. They were excited, and Jackie and Tina was a great trainer for Jackie. And she was Jackie went to her first ever Rotary event. My partner, my wife, Jackie, was one of those type of very supportive partners who always would say, whatever, you know, she never gave me too much hassle for doing the volunteer work I do in Rotary. But she also was very clear to say, that's your thing, not mine. You know, that's your thing. But she went to San Diego for the International Assembly, where they bring all the district governors from around the world together for training. And she was floored. And then she was super excited about going to her first international conference in Honolulu.
Oh,
And,
too bad.
okay. Yeah, and then that happened. So, and now, because of COVID, we're just being very careful with visits to clubs. Rotary International out of Evanston has strongly suggested